here. We're about to jump into round 2 games in a bit, but we have one more match to show you guys. It's ChongGEr versus Volcano. ChongGEr, I just want to, preface this match by saying that I've had the chance to meet ChongGEr a few times now. Blizzard Asia is really ramping up the amount of majors in the APAC region, especially in Southeast Asia major. And ChongGEr, beginning of 2016, admirable, young ChongGEr enters into the Hearthstone major scene and takes a 4th place in the Singapore major. Then in the summer, goes to the Thailand major, takes 3rd place. Then in the end of the year, in December, goes to the Malaysia major and takes 2nd place.
I'm noticing a trend here.
A trend, and that trend is heading upwards.
And everyone knows that correlation means causation.
It does. He was taking 1st place. This fact, it's 100%.
Well, it's got to get through Volcano first. And
yes,
walking through a volcano, typically not the path you want to take to get anywhere. But if you're willing to do so, it certainly speaks a lot for your work ethic in this match. And here we're seeing Pirate Warrior versus Reno Mage right off the bat. And this early Doomsayer from Volcano is just massive against ChongGEr. He's got a way to answer this, but it would require his coin, and it would require him to get a lot on board here. And he's going to choose not to do it, which I'm a little bit surprised about. When Volcano gets a turn like this, if he has any sort of follow-up here, it's going to be really tough for ChongGEr to take the board back. In this case, it's Cabal Courier, and he finds Ethereal Conjurer with it. And if you look at that hand, the refreshment vendor's there. Conjurer now fills up the 5-drop. He's got Reno Jackson afterwards. If ChongGEr had simply fought for the board in this spot, he would have ended up in a position where he's going to start pushing a ton of damage alongside that Frothing Berserker. Instead, he gave up the board, and now he's got to find a way to fight back for it. I'm really surprised ChongGEr didn't try to.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if that's gonna hurt him. This is going to be a really tough game, especially considering Volcano's hand is just, it is very good. Yes. It is very, very good.
And that's the thing. If ChongGEr had that Fiery War Axe down, sure, the charges would be gone, but that Frothing Berserker would be threatening. He'd have gotten the chip damage in with the small-time Buccaneer. And that patch is there. He has a clear game plan in mind, which is play it this way and then follow up with Frothing Berserker to start that big board swing. But as we move into Volcano's later stages, if he's got AoE, if he's got those pinpoint removal spells, that's where ChongGEr's going to struggle his most. I think he's got his best chances to simply overwhelm him at the start.
Yeah, this is interesting. So he's going to opt to go with the Ethereal Conjurer here over, say, Forbidden Flame. One of the routes you can take in this matchup is to remove everything that they play. And then eventually you'll be able to stabilize with Reno. Now he's going to give ChongGEr the opportunity to build up more of a board and also trade into this Ethereal Conjurer. So at the moment, he doesn't have a way to spot remove all of these minions. And there is a ton of burn sitting in the hand from ChongGEr. Volcano might be surprised by some damage coming at him in the next 2 turns or so.
He definitely could be, but Frostbolt and Forbidden Flame is a good start to get underway on this board. He's able to freeze one of the minions, completely clear out one of the 4 health minions, and then use Hero Power plus the Refreshment Vendor on the following turn. Maybe even just Frostbolt and Refreshment Vendor on this turn. I think he's got the options to start holding this off, but it is a lot of damage starting to pile up. And from ChongGEr's perspective, he's starting to fear AoE. This is moving into a Blizzard turn. Potential Frost Nova is here. I'd still like to see him push damage because that's got to be his best chance to win. This weapon swing, though, you can tell he doesn't want to give up a minion.
Minions are the way you can get damage in, post heals, post Reno, being able to secure a board.
Yeah, the lack of damage here, if you go back and look at that Doomsayer turn, one of the strongest things that ChongGEr can do with his Pirate Warrior deck is put pressure on Volcano to have to Reno on turn 6, and then put a Frothing Berserker down. When Frothing Berserker comes down the turn your opponent is going to play Reno Jackson, it threatens to get a ton of damage here. Volcano really not under much of a threat, and even with the Blizzard drawn, is just going to choose pinpoint removal. Why not? It's at a very safe life total.
You could see him mouse over the Blizzard as soon as he picked it up, because that looked like it was going to be one of the best plays. But opts to go against it, and I definitely like this play as well, that spot removal, because he didn't have a way to follow up the Blizzard. He would have Blizzard and then had to use Forbidden Flame, Frostbolt the next turn also.
Or maybe even Frost Nova to hold off a wide board
Sure,
state.
Yeah. And ChongGEr now, still a lot of damage, 9 from hand at the moment, plus additional damage over a couple turns. At this point, it might just be better to go in and say, if you have Reno, I lose anyway. I'm not winning the game if you have Reno. I might as well put some damage on you. hope that I can draw Leroy, have the mana to Leroy next turn, and finish off the game.
Yeah, it's really tough for him to invest the upgrade here, though. If he draws Arcanite Reaper,
that's
he draws Fiery War Axe, you know, that's a lot of damage represented with that upgrade. So what he's calculating is, does this damage right now and over the next turn end up mattering? And there are some situations it does. For instance, he pushes for 9 here, pushes 3 more on the following turn with Bloodsail Cultist, and he keeps 1 Heroic Strike back for that extra option. This helps him a little bit post-Reno or maybe post-Heals or in a situation he's got to kill a minion, but that damage absolutely can change him winning or losing with a couple key draws.
Yeah, he realizes that pretty much, definitely everything that he has available to him in his deck is playable with Heroic Strike the following turn.
And look at this, Volcano just using Frost Nova to gain 4 health, and I think this is a really smart move from Volcano. If he can expend the rest of ChongGEr's resources, he's going to smooth sail to victory.
Yeah, and
that Heroic Strike may have needed to take out that Refreshment Vendor. I mean, he's got to find damage from these minions.
Yeah, once he sees this Reno, he's going to realize that there's not really much hope for him in the game, especially with the removal from the Frostbolt as well. Actually going to Blizzard. He realized, is there any 2 combination of cards that kill him? I guess not. No, there's no 2 combinations. So most damage would be Mortal...
14 life total?
14 is his life total.
Yeah, so even like Leroy Heroic Strike is only 11 damage in that spot. So free to continue to be greedy.
Yeah.
And why not? He's got Alex, he's got Reno Jackson, he's got another Frostbolt. It's a perfect setup for him. And still in the same position. He don't think he's going to take it slow this time, but now there's another Reno in the deck.
Let's put another one in there.
2 Renos.
You never need 2 Renos. Well, sometimes you need 2 Renos.
Everybody against Shaman.
Shaman, sometimes you need 2 Renos. You go into your Reno turn and they slam Flamery Faceless Totem Golem, and you're just like, oh, I gotta
think the turn to look at for ChongGEr was foregoing the kill in the Doomsayer. He would have had 4 damage on board, Fiery War Axe, and had the option to roll into either Bloodsail Cultist or Frothing Berserker afterwards. I think foregoing that turn cost ChongGEr a lot of damage and opportunity in this game.
A lot of pressure. Yeah, you might look back on that, but again, you gotta move forward, look forward in a match like this, especially in an event like this. This is round 1
of 7.
Of 7. These guys are gonna be here playing for like 40 more hours. Not that much, maybe 10. But it feels like 40.
TJ's perception of time is completely accurate as well.
When you're jamming Hearthstone all day and having to think at this high of a level, that takes a toll. So if you cloud your mind with what could have been, what could I have done? Yeah, you need to make sure that you're making the right plays and that you're being self-critical, but not dwelling on things. And ChongGEr is going to fall in that game, but he's still got 1 more game to play in this match, and we'll see in a moment if he's going to be able to take it against Volcano. It'd be a huge blow to him if he fell 0-1 in these early rounds.
Yeah, a lot of the rounds that we've been looking at too, across the board, we've been keeping track on a lot of these. I've seen a lot of conservative play with the aggressive decks, and the aggressive decks are not really designed to be conservative. They're meant to be fairly reckless at times and have faith in the draw potential. The deck is very high density in terms of just sheer damage, and that damage piles up over time. The more you can get in combination with your cards, the better it is. Not simply about having more cards in general.
All right, well, we have one final game to show you for round number 1. Round number 2 is beginning very shortly as all of these matches have wrapped up. Let's get into it. ChongGEr versus Volcano. We'll see who can come out of round 1 with that 1-0 score.
And this opening hand from Volcano is about as miserable as it gets. So he does have Edwin, Van Cleef, and Coin, so some potential reprieve if he picks up a preparation or if he finds a backstab. But this matchup very much about ChongGEr just having so much sheer damage that Volcano almost can't overcome it. Yeah. It just boils down to the fact that Volcano's rogue deck has no real way to protect his own health total.
Unless he gets crazy things from Shaku, which I do believe is in his list. You can get the Ally Armorsmith, you can get Public Defender, all sorts of things. Armor gain, bash, shield block. Those types of things can help you gain life against Warrior. But even then, you need a turn to play the Shaku, a 2-3 that has no immediate impact on the board, and then you need to have some lucky pulls from Shaku to be able to stifle damage. So he does have Edwin. Now, Edwin and Cleave can make this interesting. If you can get a huge Edwin, like Coin, Prep, Sapper, Eviscerate into an Edwin, you can sometimes race. If you get a 10-10, that's a 3-turn clock almost.
Yeah, in this spot, preparation or counterfeit coin are absolutely his best draws. And to kind of compound the issue, if you look at his rogue list specifically, he's got a copy of Beneath the Grounds. He's got a copy of Red Mana Worm. And those cards are incredibly slow versus Pirate Warrior. They offer little to no potential. And here, picking up Backstab, this may just be an Edwin turn. I'm not really sure he has much more gas in the tank to really make this happen. But he's got Backstab, he's got potentially Coin Edwin that would give him a Sap Eviscerate turn to follow it up. Maybe 4/4 Edwin's enough, and you look for Sap Eviscerate and Coin Cold Blood. He's got to get damage rolling, though.
Yeah,
There's no other option.
He's at 17. If he goes with just Backstab, Coin Edwin, it's a 6/6, and he's taking at least three next turn, plus the swing from the weapon. He's looking dead to me.
He's looking very dead to me. Now, again, if he holds on to the Edwin and he finds preparation, his turn's pretty insane. But this is a tough call to make right here. When 6/6 Edwin's not enough, that is usually a bad sign for Rogue.
Yeah, that's, again, if he had drawn a preparation, or if one of those cards in his hand is preparation, you don't often have time to utilize Gadgets and Auctioneer at all in this matchup, unless your early hand is all removal.
Using the Eviscerate here, too, it is a bit of a risk. If ChongGEr's got Korokron Elite, suddenly he's in just an absolute dreadful position of having to sap the Korokron Elite. ChongGEr would just get a ton of damage out of that. The fact the minions are slow, though, it gives him one more turn.
I like this play, though. He removes him the damage off the board, so he's trying to protect his life total. And he can roll into Edwin next turn, potentially pick up another spell that he could couple with it. Well, I guess it'd have to be Coin at that point, or prep to be able to just use the Cold Blood.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Now, here's a question for you. Where does he fit in these Cold Bloods afterwards? So he's going into a 5-mana turn. He's just got Cold Blood, Cold Blood. You just use one for 2 power?
And then go for the next one. I think he got to. That's got to be his plan. I mean, he is dying quick.
Still some slower cards from ChongGEr, though.
Volcano has 0 removal. No, those Cold Bloods are dead.
Wow.
So what can Volcano pick up that's going to keep him in this game?
Sap. SI7 Agent's interesting.
It doesn't even allow him to...
He's going to have to trade here.
Yeah, he can clear, but he's going to have to take 3 damage with the dagger. If he goes Colt and...
I mean, maybe your hope is just Backstab.
Oh. Well, speaking of the devil, there's the Shaku. I don't think he's even going to have enough time to get that online and be able to attack with it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Bloodsail Colt is picked up, bringing the Rusty Hook up to 4 attack.
I don't see any way that Volcano wins this game. 6 power Edwin, 4 power.
Conceal's not enough. Yeah. He doesn't have it. There's enough damage from hand for ChongGEr, so that looks like ChongGEr's going to take it as Volcano. That's the risk you take when you bring Rogue. You're going to have great matchups against the control decks. Against the Reno decks, you're going to have great matchups. But against the Pirate Warrior, against Aggro Shaman even, you usually just can't stand up to the pressure.
He's very teched to beat the control decks. There's no question about that. But you have to respect the ability that aggressive decks bring.
Yeah.
And Rogue, almost 0 tools to fight against this.
He's going to try and find a way out, but I just don't see it. He can hope that there's no damage in the hand, but even then, I don't think he can even clear the board.
And I gotta wonder if he should have gone for the early Edwin. If he takes that 3 damage a little bit earlier from the Cultist, maybe he gets a double Cold Blood turn in, starts hacking away. I mean, the double Edwin, or the Edwin with double Cold Blood rather, represents a ton of damage. ChongGEr likely has to invest resources into that. So that 3 damage you sacrifice immediately maybe gets made up by ChongGEr actually putting resources into the Edwin Van Cleave.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's just dead on board. Only way he can clear is by attacking it at a 3/3 with his dagger, and there's a 4-attack weapon. So that is going to be it. ChongGEr will take the match 3-2 over Volcano, and that's going to be it. Round 1 is complete with ChongGEr's win. That was the last match that we were waiting for, and here's some notable players that have concluded round 1. Lots of big names currently sitting at 1-0, including the Australians, Jowen and Naviut. The Koreans, Surrender and Handsome Guy. Taiwanese players, Tom and Pimping Ho. And of course, Gundam Flame, the guy that loves to go face, and ChongGEr. as we just saw.
Yep.
HearthSky did have a bye, so it was an easy win for him. He just had to show up on time.
Yep. Kranich, a two-time World Championship competitor, falls early in winter playoffs here. Now he's got a long road ahead of him. I believe at this point he's likely to have to win 6 straight if he's going to keep his playoff hopes alive at this point. Or losing early on will generally mean that the opponents you're playing against are racking up more and more losses as you're beating them. That's very important to his tiebreakers. The tiebreakers are based off of how strong your opponent's performances have been. So it's a tough road for him at this point.
Yeah, all right. Well, round number 1 is in the books. We have tons more Hearthstone to come. But let's get underway with round number 2.